Hello learners, NIOS welcomes you to Painting Subject video series. This is lesson 11, Mauryan and Post-Mauryan Art. Part 1. I will explain the process of the lesson. First we will understand the background about the Mauryan and the post-Mauryan empire. Then we understand the background about the sculptures of this era, then the new words from this lesson. Then we come to the actual sculptures mentioned in this chapter. Finally, we have the summary and then the questions and answers. This was way before the time the concept of India emerged. Before that, there were rulers who ruled parts of Pakistan and the entire northern region of India, and they were called the Mauryan kings. One of them was Ashoka the Great, who managed an extensive empire, and that was around the 325 BC. The Mauryan dynasty was founded by Chandragupta Maurya in 322 BC. His great grandson Ashoka was a generous patron of art. The capital city of the Mauryan Empire is the modern Patna, which at that time was known as Patali Putra, and this place became a center of art. During the Mauryan Empire, there were marvelous sculptures which were made of sandstone, and these sculptures were of various forms like animals, deities, gods, which actually represented the skill of the artisans, and these were made on pillars, on stupas and cave temples. Many stupas and many cave temples have exquisite collection of sculptures, which shows that the artisans were very skilled, and this dynasty started to decline in the year 185 BC. The sculptures of the Mauryan time were beautiful and expressive. Forms were human, animal, bird and botanical forms. There was great attention to the anatomy of the figures, and the depiction was very realistic, be it human figures or animal figures. The artists were able to depict figures very realistically. There was also very deep knowledge of ratio and balance when it came to the sculptures. For example, if there was a bust or a figure of the elephant head, and a person or a mahout sitting on top of the elephant, they would ensure that the ratio and the proportion was taken care of. Again depicts the expertise of these sculptors. Now, since these sculptures were done in stone as well as terracotta, there were a lot of mother goddess figurines which were also found. Once the figure was ready, they would ensure that they would polish and make the surface glossy. That was one speciality. And some of the most important sculptures were the pillars of Ashoka. You would also see that the pillars of Ashoka have found their way in modern culture in terms of the currency, etc. Now, some examples of the Mauryan sculpture. As you see, the pillar also has a lion on top of the pillar. This was a speciality of the Mauryan sculpture. Then mother goddess figurines. There was a lot of belief and veneration, and these were votive figures used in religious rituals. And also the lion emblem, which had 4 heads, as well as a portion or a platform which had 4 different animals. So, the lion here depicts the king of the jungle, so that is power, and the other 4 animals as well as the chakra in between depict really strong cultural values, and that was the Ashoka pillar. New words from the lesson now. The first word is grandson. Red sandstone. These were used to make statues. You would also know the Qutub Minar has also been made of the red sandstone. The next word is pillar. As you saw, the Ashoka pillar, which had the lion and other animals depicted on it. The next word is stupa. This is a Buddhist memorial and a religious place. Stout means strong, both in terms of the physical nature and as well as the personality. Voluptuous, primarily related to the female figure, where the curves are the speciality, and you would see that even in the sculptures of Mauryan art. Mekhla has a kind of folds, pleats, which are used by women as skirts and also saris. Grey sandstone. Again, these are huge boulders which are used to make statues and sculpture. Top knot is when the hair, as you see in the picture, Buddha used to tie his hair in a top knot. The next word, yaksha, are nature spirits, not gods, but natural spirits who are connected to the forests, to water, to fertility. They are both males as well as females. They are not malicious and don't intend to hurt people, but are like guardians of nature. They are venerated for their blessings and are known as yaksha. They were also symbolized in the sculptures. Proportionate is the ratio and balance in terms of the size of a figure. Dignity is a value of a person who is venerated and deserves honor and respect. could be a male or female. Even in the sculptures, you would see that the personality is dignified. Anatomy in art is basically the study of the figure, of the proportion, of the balance, of the size, to ensure that the depiction is realistic. Similar studies were also used while making sculptures. The next word, Tribhanga, is a posture where you would see the body has three breaks. The head is tilted, the waist is tilted, and then the legs are also in a different position. So, this is called the Tribhanga posture. Benevolence, as you see in the picture of Jesus, the face depicts grace, positivity and love, and not anger. Nimbus is the sign of enlightenment or awakening, which was found behind Buddha's sculptures. I hope you enjoyed watching part 1 of the lesson and will watch all the following videos. If you have any queries, you can email us at signlanguage@nios.ac.in. For more information, you can visit our website www.nios.ac.in. Thank you.